Beef's challenge is also its opportunity. Meat scientist Bridget Wasser talks about the ways lipid, carbohydrate, and protein components all influence beef flavor.
There's all these different flavor notes that are in beef. These compounds are just waiting to be activated when we heat or cook beef. But that adds to the complexity as well, because beef isn't just does it taste good or does it not taste good. There's just individual flavor attributes and notes and descriptive terms that we can use that all have to kind of be turned on the right way when we heat and cook beef to get a great beef eating experience. And so it adds to the complexity, but it also makes beef a really unique tasting food that's unlike any other protein or any other food item out there.
Most taste panel research says beef stands out for its buttery beef fat flavor.
A big driver of beef's lipid component that impacts flavor is marbling or intramuscular fat. There's such a unique flavor with that marbling fat. It's described as a buttery beef fat flavor, and that's unique to beef. And it's not present in other proteins, that buttery beef fat flavor that beef marbling has. So it really gives us that uniqueness and that kind of a competitive advantage in that sense, because that is such a preferred and liked flavor by consumers.
Genetic selection and management that focuses on intramuscular fat can improve that specific flavor note.
That marbling fat is affected by our production practices, genetics, days on feed, what we feed. Grain feeding, for example, is really required to get intramuscular fat or marbling, and that's worth it because it really does impact positively the flavor experience, and that really is why marbling is so rewarded in our beef industry and our quality grading system, because it does directly impact not just flavor, but tenderness and juiciness as well in a really big way.
When consumers spend more on beef than competing proteins, they expect more. That's why it's so important for the beef community to keep making improvements.
They're thinking about a great beef eating experience. They're thinking of some of those kind of key product attributes that us in the beef industry are very familiar with, like tenderness and juiciness and flavor, things we know have to be good in beef to have a great eating experience. But the consumer also thinks about things like how beef smells, how it looks, does it look fresh, does it smell great? So it's kind of that whole package that the consumer is looking for. They eat with their mouths, but they also eat with their eyes and their nose and all their senses.
I'm Bob Cervera.